Hello everyone and welcome back to the RMTV Women's Podcast. This is episode 145. Bit annoying this week. We were supposed to be, going to plan to go into the office and, you'd be in you'd have high def sound quality, lovely camera, but no, Rona had other ideas, so it was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. But, we'll stick to Zoom. It's done us all the favours so far, so we'll just we'll continue with this. But
Indeed.
We're filming on a Wednesday evening. How's your week going so far, Amy?
Hot.
Yeah.
It's so hot. It is so hot.
Yeah.
I'm sweating right now. It is warm. But, I mean, you can't complain. I don't think I've ever had this kind of weather in September that I can remember. It's so bizarre. It feels like August or like June weather, do you know what I mean? But can't complain. It's going to be thunderstorming tomorrow, so enjoy it while you can.
We'll enjoy it while it lasts. This is kind of like one of my favourite times of the year when it's just turning from summer into it's getting a bit colder. The nights are drawing in a little bit. I don't like it going dark.
Wear a hoodie again.
You can wear a hoodie and jeans and no one's going to be like, why are you wearing a hoodie? Do you know what I mean? So
exactly.
It's perfect weather for us too. But yeah,
suits our personalities well.
It really does. But yeah, we'll dive straight in then. We'll talk about Liverpool first. Obviously, got their first win of the season at the weekend against Watford. 2 goals from Rihanna Dean and 1 from Bo Kearns. I think first half display, obviously we couldn't watch the whole game because it wasn't live, but got caught up in highlights and whatnot. From what I've seen, first half display really good, really dominant. Pretty much had the whole of the ball for the full 45. I think the highlights are pretty much just us for the first half. We looked really dominant. Going forward, we just performed really well. I thought a lot of chances created because of score within the opening 2 minutes. I think with Kerry Holland, so it looked like it was going to be a really good game for Liverpool. Obviously, go in at half time 3-0 up. You think amazing, good start. We obviously go for more goals in the second half because they'll only help you towards the end of the season. And then the game ends up finishing 3-2. If we just focus on the first half, I thought Rihanna Dean played really well, and obviously you highlighted it in last week's podcast and in the build-up show as well.
Yeah.
And she pretty much did what we wanted her to do, didn't she?
100%. I think we were all sort of calling for her to start because of the impact that she brought when she came on against London City and in the opening game. It was just a little bit more intensity and spark about the game, and she was linking up well with the midfield. So it wasn't really a shock at all that she started. Obviously that game against Watford, and I think she proved herself with getting 2 goals on for a hat trick as well. And the goals that she scored were amazing as well. Super clean finishing. The goal where it bends into the top corner was phenomenal. No keeper stopping that, are they? So yeah, I think she well and truly earned a spot, and I think I will also be quite astonished if she doesn't start against Bristol again this weekend at home, because I think she's done everything she possibly can to sort of cement that place, because it's really competitive this year in terms of that forward position, because you've got Yana Daniels that can play there, that's come in. You've got Leanne Kiernan who plays the number 9. You've obviously got Rihanna Dean. You've got Kerry Holland that can play up there. Fernie that can play up there. There's so many different players on the bench and in the starting 11 that can play that position. But I think what this team was calling out for was someone who took that role upon themselves, and it feels like Rihanna Dean's doing that. And it's been I earn this shirt every week. I am the one that people look to for the goals, and I want to be that person. And I don't feel like we've had that person since Babajide was here. We always used to look for her for the goals, etc. But it's nice to know now that we've got someone in that can deliver that, and I just hope it continues over the course of the whole season.
Yeah, I don't think it's just a finishing either. I think a movement off the ball is really good as well, to sort of open up space as well. And obviously that caters to other players. That caters to other players' needs as well. Obviously Mel Lawley with the lovely through ball for a second, I want to say.
Yeah,
think
I
it
can't remember
was.
now.
I
But
can't remember now, but I
yeah,
think it was the second goal. But the lovely through ball just like completely splits like two defenders, and it's like, will that now a player like it open up Mel Lawley again for us, who can really shine
yeah,
in this
exactly.
position? So
Yeah,
it's beneficial to the whole squad really when you've got a player like that. But yeah, obviously
100%.
second half we conceded two, which isn't ideal. Two sloppy goals to concede as well. I thought.
Did you see the goals as well?
Yeah,
Uh,
they were just misplaced passes, miscommunication between players, and that then opens it up for Watford to get two back, and but makes it a bit ropey then to end the game. And it's kind of like, how do you go from being
oh,
so dominant
yeah.
in the first 45 minutes to then having, especially that, I'd probably say last 20 um, of that match, where you sort of hanging on a little bit. Um, I think it's quite similar to what's happened to us in the previous two seasons, where we've sort of been in control or we've been leading in the game, and then you get to the last 10 minutes, and we're either chasing a goal or we're just doing anything we possibly can to defend our lead. And it's like, you don't want that to continue into this season, because teams are going to punish you for that. And like, no disrespect to Watford, but if that's a different team, we're getting punished there. You're walking away with it, and it's 3-3, or possibly even getting beat 4-3 if it's a Sheffield United or a Durham. Do you know what I mean? If you're in that position, so it's kind of like, I don't know. Are you maybe nervous that could still be an issue for us going into the season, or do you reckon that it's just a thing that can just sort of, we can work on as we get more into the season?
It's a tough one because my initial instinct is that a fitness thing, because like obviously we're still quite early on into the season. Are we tailing off towards the end of the game because of fitness and whatnot? But then you also look, like, we brought on so many different players. We brought on like the likes of Carla Humphrey and midfield, where the most of the actions seem to be happening. So it's not like we haven't brought a fresh legs on. It's really tough. I think it's only worrying because it's happened to us previously in other seasons. I think that's obviously the only reason why we're a little bit worried about it now. I think as the season goes on and fitness starts to pick up, that's when you'll see whether there is an actual like issue or not.
Yeah.
But it is a worrying thing, because like you hit the nail on the head. Like if that was a Bristol, if that was a Durham, if that was a Sheffield, like it could have been so much different. As you said, like, no disrespect to Watford, but it could have been so much different. And I think with our ambitions for this season and where we are at as a team and the strength of the team, like we really should just be pushing on after 3-0, like seeing the game out. The amount of confidence you go in at half time with a 3-0 lead, to come back and then it finished 3-2. Obviously that doesn't necessarily reflect the whole game, but obviously we come away with 3 points, but that favours Watford a little bit more than it probably should because of the display in the first half. So it's definitely, I think if it happens a couple more times, which to be honest it can't really afford to do, if it does happen a few more times, that's when there's going to be a bit of an issue. I don't think there's any cause for like heads falling off right at this point, but I think we're only worried because of the previous Liverpool that we know had a tendency to do that. Hopefully going forward though, that scraps out and we tidy up a bit. But as you say, the goals that we conceded were just so sloppy. And it was like, it was a deflected pass that fell for Watford the right way. Like, it's just doing the basics right and making sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, definitely. I don't like to sort of highlight the negatives all the time, but you can't help but sort of discuss
You
it.
have to, don't you?
Yeah. You can't look at it through rose-colored glasses all the time. You have got to highlight and be like, this is an area that we think we need to work on. So, yeah. But overall, 3 points in the bag, first win of the season, an away win, which is always good. Going into this weekend with Bristol at home, which will be a good match. So, if you haven't got tickets or you want to go, head over to the Liverpool website. They'll have all the info that you need for that there. Or we'll have it on like our socials and stuff as well. So yeah, get your tickets if you want to go. We'll both be there. So we can come and say hello if you want to say hello. If we look approachable. But yeah, we'll go into it lagged then. Oh no.
I'm still here.
Oh, there you are. You're back.
I'm still here.
It was just you, like,
Oh,
looking really, like, dumb at life, just... I
no.
was like, oh, no.
We go again.
We go again. Yeah, we'll go into the WSL for a little minute then. Obviously, we talked about it last week. That it was their opening season at the weekend. Some really good fixtures. A lovely article by our friend Emma Sanders on BBC. If we remember, we'll put a link to it in the description. If we don't, Emma, don't hate
We always forget.
We always forget, so don't hate us, Emma.
Don't quote us on that one.
Don't have your hopes up. But yeah, she basically just highlighted all of the big moments of the weekend, and I think the one for me that was a really good talking point from that weekend was the lack of technology that's in the women's game at the minute. Obviously there was a couple of moments over 2 games, especially the first one being First one being Man United Reading on the Friday night. Obviously Brooke Chaplin, lovely strike. Amazing strike. Loads of power off the bar. Looks like it crosses the line. It does cross the line, and immediately from looking at it and watching it, you think that's in. But wasn't given us a goal. Play went on. Reading missed out there, and that just proves that, goal line technology in that moment would have been so beneficial, because that game could have gone a completely different way and possibly in Reading's favour at that moment. So, I think...
Yeah, I think...
Go on.
Sorry, you go.
You go.
Okay. I was just going to say...
we keep missing each other's points.
I was just going to say, like, the only reason I can think why it's not already been, like, implemented in the women's game is due to, like, the pitches and, like, the stadiums, and whether, obviously, a stadium like Prenton Park will be able to have goal line technology, but maybe other places like will Blackburn's ground, Bramber Bridge, be able to have, like, goal line technology, and is it set up for that kind of facility? That's the only potential reason why I can think it's not already been done. But when you look at the benefits versus the cons, like, it just outweighs it. Because, for example, that Reading United game, if Brooke Chaplin scores that goal, they're even then. So the game is completely still wide open. But instead, United go and score the other end, and it's 2-0. Like, it's tough. And obviously, like, the Beth Mead one as well against Chelsea, she's offside. So like that game then can go a different way as well. And I know we say it all the time in the men's game, and I think it is slightly evening out, even though VAR is an absolute SH1T show. But I think, like, the bottom line, I think goal line technology can be introduced. I think VAR is a bit too controversial for the women's game at the minute because it's still, like, evolving and stuff. Yeah. But something as simple as goal line technology, I think would like benefit the game so much. But as I said, the only reason I can think is because of the stadiums and stuff like that, and, like, logistics, etc.
Yeah. Emma Hayes described it after the game, saying that it's sort of like being like a second-class citizen. Which you can understand the frustration from her side, as it was against her team, and like we've just said, like, we completely get it. But then on another hand, you've just made a really good point there about the stadiums, and there's no point in having it in place for only certain games when it's not going to be then consistent throughout the season. So
it has to be every team, not just one team.
And especially if you're talking about the WSL, like, a lot of stadiums can do it. It's like, for example, if they did put it in place over the weekend when at Goodison, at the Emirates, it would have been a different story for the teams, but it's not, and they're not going to do it for those one-off games because they're not going to be able to do it for everyone in the season, so then other people are at an unfair advantage. So it's just one of them, isn't it? You can talk about it and it will be spoken about and it will be brought up until probably these things are in place for women's football, but then up until that, it's just kind of one of those things that you just have to take on the chin, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, another milestone that over the weekend, talking about Everton and Man City, their game was live on BBC on Saturday, and it was a peak audience of 800,000 viewers who tuned in to watch that match, which is the most watched club level women's league match on TV ever.
You know, like, even talking about like coverage and stuff, when I watched both the United game and the Arsenal game on obviously Sky Sports, and you'll probably think the same, like seeing the setup, seeing like the studio, like the analysis, even like some stats coming up throughout the game that I didn't even know existed. I want to know where to find these stats because we could use those stats. But it was just so surreal. Like, I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, I was saying to my family, like, this is just like the men's. Like, you guys don't know what this means to us. Like, this is just like top next level for us. I never thought we'd get to a point where you have two really highly regarded presenters in Katie Stoney and Karen Carney stood at a TV looking at the formation and saying how all these women players are going to play. Like, it was so surreal. The whole thing was amazing.
Yeah, I remember like when it was announced about like the Sky Sports deal and stuff like that, and I think we had a discussion about it, and both of us was like, imagine if there was like a Monday night football kind of theme, and that's what you got, especially on like Friday night. That's what you got, because it was just a whole show dedicated, and it's like, that's what we've been wanting and needing for so long. Like, that's what's going to grow the game, not just more fans being able to attend matches, but it's also more fans being able to watch matches
and understand the way the teams play, who the players are, what to look out for. It's like a fact sheet before the game even kicks off. Someone who's watched it for the first time, they could be like, watch out for Nikita Paris on the wing, she's done this and this, her technique is this, she likes to do this, she likes to cut in, blah 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 blah. And then when the person that's not seen it before then watches that game, they know what to look out for. That's how these names get into like households and become more familiar. Like, I thought it was absolutely unbelievable. I really did.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, like, hats off to them, and like, very much appreciated from a lot of people, I think.
Definitely.
But also that scoreline was a bit mad though, wasn't it? I just wanted to highlight it a little bit. Like, was not expecting that at all. Savage, yeah. And especially like at Goodison, like, there was a thing I seen something earlier on that was like, did the occasion get to the Everton team? And I thought, I don't feel like they're the type of team that are affected by occasions.
No, I think they came to Anfield with 23,500 people and won. So
and they've been in they've played at Goodison in the cup as well and stuff like that. So I don't think it was an occasion. I think
they just didn't turn up on the day by the sounds of it.
Yeah, City just played really, really well. So it's interesting.
There to take the title, though, aren't they? They want the title so bad.
Or at least, I was gonna say, like, is it kind of like a 3-horse race with like City, Chelsea, and Arsenal now? Like,
I think so.
You're not expecting Arsenal to beat Chelsea. I certainly wasn't anyway. Like, I think Arsenal are going to be really good this season, but I was like, oh, Chelsea are going to win this. And obviously, like, they've all got like a couple of players to come back as well. Still, but even then, it just makes it interesting already. And you've only had one game, 1 week in the fixtures, so
literally,
it'll be very exciting. But we'll move on then.
It's a huge season, isn't it? Really, when you think about it, it's huge.
Yeah, it definitely is. But we'll move on then. We'll move on to England for a minute. Obviously, Serena Wagman is now in control of the England team after stepping down from Netherlands and joining up with the Lionesses. And she's put out a squad announcement for the next 4 years. Then she hasn't put out a squad for the next 4 years. I'm just reading like 4 years there, and I was like, what's going on?
I was going to say, bloody hell. Bloody hell.
I picked a squad which is full of the usual regulars, and then obviously a couple more. So like Ebony Salmon got her second call up, which is thoroughly deserved. She's obviously been over in the NWSL with Racing Louisville and has been like, I think she's scored in most games that she's played in. So she's been called up. But ITV have also announced that they're going to be the home of the World Cup qualifiers for the next 4 years as well, which is even bigger news for that. I feel like once one broadcasting channel has jumped on the bandwagon, everyone else has kind of followed on with it, and it's thought, well, if you want a bit of it, I want a bit of it as well.
I feel like there's a shift at the minute.
Yeah.
Like, there's a massive shift in women's football, especially this season. I think the Sky deal's done it massively because everyone tends to copy Sky, don't they? Like, if Sky are on it, everyone else is going to get on it. So I think there's a massive like shift in what's going on in women's football at the minute, and it's kind of nice to see like these things getting like gradually more and more introduced.
Yeah.
I think on the squad as well, it's missing quite a few people. I don't know whether that's like because of Olympic stuff, like tired from the Olympics, injured. I know Lucy Bronze is obviously injured, but like Ellie Rowick's not in there. Which I was a bit like.
I think she's injured at the minute, isn't she, as well? So maybe that's.
Is she?
She didn't play for City at the weekend.
Or Jordan Nobbs.
Jordan Nobbs she's with her ankle.
Yeah, there's a few not in it.
I'm sure Jordan Nobbs did that ankle. I'm not sure. I'm like.
Are we back?
I'm back.
I don't know what's going on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just
carry on. Ish. Just carry on. It's fine. Keep going.
Keep going. I've lost my train of thought now, but anyway, yeah, there's a few people injured who aren't in that squad. Yeah, Katie Zellam's in there. She's been thrown back in. Who else?
Jess Carter is an interest. Esme Morgan's come back in. Alex Greenwood. That's a big one because obviously she missed out on the Olympics.
Yeah. So a couple of new names in there. Obviously, there's room. I'm not sure if you can hear me or you can see me. I'm just gonna.
This is terrible.
I'm just gonna keep going. Just don't interrupt for iPause or whatever. But yeah, that's the England squad. That's our thoughts on Liverpool's victory. That's our thoughts on WSL opening weekend. We're gonna go now because Wi-Fi is really bad. We'll sort it out for next week. But I hope you enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel for this lovely, lovely content.
Oh my god!
I will be doing a build-up video for Bristol City this weekend. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But yeah, bye.